Hey guys, thanks for joining me once again to another episode of my endeavor. So, goal today is just to continue cleaning up and cutting down some more trees. The first thing I wanted to do was to take some of this old dry brush that's been sitting here for a few months and start making a pile out of this. So, what I like to do is put the dry stuff at the bottom, and then I'll put some of the fresher stuff that I cut down on top. And that just kind of helps to get a good fire going. This is being built in the same spot as the last video, the fire is. And I did run into a slight problem later, which I wasn't expecting, but I'll show you guys that once we get there. So it took a few circuits here to get everything into place, and here you guys can see the smoke already starting to rise. And I had not started that fire, so apparently there was enough heat in that pile from the last fire from a few days ago, and it was enough to get that going for me here. And with this stuff being super dry, it didn't take long. So we'll go ahead and just work on this, enjoy the fire here for a few minutes, and then we'll get back to work. Moving on to some of the fresher stuff that I removed last time I was out there, and as you guys can see, it's ready to go here. I cut it to the proper size, and I'm just stacking it perpendicularly to the dry stuff. Really holds everything together well on that pile, and that's a pretty decent way to do this burn. So at this point, the fire is starting to kick up pretty good, and it didn't take long for all of this stuff to burn off. But yeah, this is a good bit of my day here was spent doing a lot of this. Okay, so now that I had the fire going, next I wanted to go ahead and start cutting down some new trees and piling up some of that brush on the fire as well. It's kind of hard to tell with the camera angle here due to the shadows, but the area that I'm cutting in this portion of the video here, that's where the front of the building is going to end up. So the entry door will be somewhere in the vicinity of where I am right now. And I just need to kind of push that down down the hill a little bit more than it already is. You guys can see it slightly better here. So these are the trees I was just working on. Now I'm just piling them up and moving them off to the side. So this was the goal for the day, was to basically clear out this area as much as I could so that I can start box blading and cleaning up all the rocks and building it up for the building eventually. But we'll work on this, and once I finish this up, we'll move on to the next phase here with the grapple, where I kind of use the grapple as a rake. For those of you who might have a grapple or have never thought of doing this, it works depending on the ground. It can work pretty well as a rake because you can just back drag with it. So, but we'll do that next. So enjoy the tree cutting here and a little more of the fire. Alright, so earlier I mentioned that I had a slight problem while I was doing this, and here is that problem. So I stopped because I noticed some smoke coming off of the logs that are sitting off to the right side there. I'm looking at them right now. I'll get the tractor turned back around here and you guys will see it pretty clearly, but what I think happened was must have had a rock that was embedded in one of the trees, and when I threw it on the fire, at some point it got warm enough that that rock probably broke in half and a piece of it went flying off in this direction, which ended up lighting these logs that had been sitting there for a while. So they're pretty dry, and you guys can see that it set them on fire as well. Luckily, it was in a place where I had decent access, and I'm just able to grab it with the grapple and throw them back on, or push them into the fire. So ended up not being the emergency that it could have been. But in the future here, I'll be careful and ensure that I have plenty of space around that fire, so that this can't happen again. The final thing I needed to do was to clean up some of the mess I'd made and just make the area look a little nicer. I had a lot of smaller branches kind of sitting around everywhere, and so I figured I might spend some time on that. I didn't have enough time to put the land rake on the back because I'd have to remove the backhoe and all of that stuff, but you can use the grapple pretty effectively as a rake by just back dragging it. Now, it is a lot heavier than the rake, so it tends to pull up a lot of things that I don't necessarily want it to, but if time is short, it's a pretty good method. Well, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate it if you guys can subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. Let me learn from all of you, and hopefully some of these videos are providing some things that maybe some of you haven't seen before. So, as always, come back again for more content. Thanks.